Hey guys, today we're going to talk through the next three tunes in the book. It's on page 28. It's numbers 106, 107, and 108. These are all in 3/4. Let me check 108 and make sure. No, 108's in 4/4, but 106 and 107 are in 3/4, which is the time signature we talked about last time. So it has 3 beats per measure, not 4 beats per measure like we're used to. And it starts on the D on the A string. In number 106. We're going to talk about 106 first. Now, bass players, you have something a little bit different. You have what's called second and a half position. So basically, it's just the finger position between first position, which is all the way down by the nut, and third position, which is when you shift down for like C sharp and D. So second and a half position is when your first finger is on B, which is where your fourth finger normally is. So you're going to shift from first position. This is only for bass players again. You're going to shift from first position up by the end of your instrument. I don't have a bass here, but I'll show you on my viola. Pretend like this is a bass. You're going to shift from first position here down to where your pinky would normally be. Instead of shifting all the way down past that, you're going to shift to where your pinky is, where that B normally is. And that note is your G. Sorry, B. The first finger B. Okay? And that's second and a half position. We don't use that very often, or we haven't used it yet. But you're going to be using some half positions, and other instruments will too. You're going to be using some half positions more often throughout this book in middle school and especially high school. So, basses, make sure you know where that second and a half position is on the first finger B, which is where your fourth finger on the G string usually is for basses. Everybody else, you don't have any new fingerings or anything like that right now. You'll notice that the beginning of the song has the word moderato over it, and if you remember back from the tempo lesson a long time ago, moderato is like a medium tempo, so it's medium fast. It's not too fast, not too slow. We're going to go kind of slow today, but it's a medium tempo normally, okay? Now, I want to put this up here. I put this up the last video lesson I made. I want to put this up here again. These are the steps whenever you learn a new song. So we're going to clap and count first. We're going to clap and say the note names. I'm going to say the finger numbers on the neck, and for these videos I say the note names while I use my fingers on the neck, because if I say finger numbers you guys will get confused because all of you have different finger numbers. Then we do shadow bow, and then we play everything all together. Okay, so let's do the first one. We're going to clap and count. This is number 106. We're going to clap and count this together. Okay, let me switch my screen here so you can see the screen too. Now this is the teacher book, so if you're looking at it, I have all 4 parts and a piano accompaniment part. So only find, if you don't have your book out for some reason, make sure you have your book first of all. But you can look on here and you can see your part as we play along. Hopefully you can read it. I know it's kind of small, but hopefully you can read it. We're going to do number 106. Alright, so let's clap and count. And when I count you off, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go, because we have 3 beats in a measure instead of 4. Okay, so I'll still give you 2 measures for the count off, but it's going to be 6 beats total. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, clap and count, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is a long note, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dotted half note, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Last 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, remember a couple things. When you have notes like this, like the 4th measure here, and again right here in the 8th measure, those are dotted half notes, and we talked about last time, dotted half notes are 3 beats, because a half note is 2 beats. The dot adds half of whatever that note is back to it, so half of 2 is 1, so we're going to have 2 beats for the half note, add 1 beat for the dot, 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so we have 3 total beats for each one of those dotted half notes, and especially on the last one, make sure we'll play it in a second. When you clap it, the note is only this long. Every note is that long. When you bow it, you can make the note go longer, so make sure when we play this here in a minute, you make that bow last for full 3 beats. Don't let it cut off early. Okay? Alright, next one, we're going to clap and say note names. Okay? Here we go. Note names from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. D, 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 C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, B, C sharp, D, A, 2, 3, G, 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 F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, E, 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 D, 2, 3, D, E, F sharp, D, E, F sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, 2, 3, E, F sharp, G, E, F sharp, G, E, F sharp, G, A, 2, 3, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, E, D, 2, 3. Okay? Now, normally, like I said on this card, where you can see it, normally I would say finger numbers on the neck when I would do this in class, and I would do this by instrument, so I would say all violins and violas do it together because you have the same finger numbers. Since all of you are watching this at the same time and you have different finger numbers, we're not going to do that step. Normally on your own, I want you to practice that step. I'm not going to do that step right now because I would normally just say the note names with you guys in a situation like this. So we're going to skip that one. We're going to go on to shadow bowing. Now if you look at the beginning, right here, it starts with a down bow for everybody. That picture is a down bow, and this one is an up bow. And it's going to alternate every measure because it's an odd number of beats in the measure. It's 3 beats in a measure. Okay? So we're going to start in the middle. Make sure you don't start too high or too low so you have some room to move that way. Check your bow hold. Let me switch back to my other camera here. Check your bow hold. Make sure that you've got a good curve to all your fingers. You should not have any straight fingers like this. You shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be anything like this. Your thumb goes right back here. My nails are a little bit long. My thumb goes right back here. Fingers are nice and curved on top. Your pinky does not have to be on the screw for violins and violas. It can be if that's where it naturally falls, but usually it's probably a little bit past it, and that's fine. Everything should be nice and curved and relaxed. Okay? Alright, now we're going to shadow bow this with no instruments, just shadow bow. Starting on a down bow. 1, 2, 3, 1. Ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now slow. Up, 2, 3, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up slow, 2, 3, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, slow, 2, 3, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 2, 3. Last four measurements. 1, 2, 3, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 2, 3, off. Okay? Alright, now let's go through and get our instruments. And again, I'm playing a viola, so violins and violas are going to sound pretty much the same. Cellos will be lower, and basses will be even lower than that. And I'll try to see if Mr. Bailey can make a cello and bass. He has a cello and bass at home. I don't. So I'll see if he can make a cello and bass video for you guys for this too. And he might be able to explain the second and half position a little bit better if you can see it on the instrument. So let's go through this slowly. I'm going to go even slower than we just went. So we're going to go nice and slow, nice and relaxed. Starting from the beginning, moderato tempo again at the beginning. Moderato here is medium fast, not too fast. Okay? Alright, here we go. Let's find our first note. So this is D. So you want to go ahead and find that first note, find the A, or the D on the A string. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, start on the down bow, and 1, ready, go. hopefully you did that with me, and hopefully you did okay. Now, right now, if I went too fast, I want you to pause the video and go do that several times on your own. You don't have to go as fast as I just did. I want you to be able to hear it. So if you need to, you can play it measure by measure. Pause the video, make sure you know where you are. I tried to go slow and make sure I said slow on the dotted half notes to help you out a little bit. Now let's go on number 107. Before you play this, I want you to do it the same exact way you did before. So I want you to clap and count it. I want you to clap and say the note names. Move your finger numbers. Say your finger numbers on the neck. Move your fingers on the neck, but don't actually play it yet. Then shadow bow, and then put it all together. I'm not going to do that right now. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say clap and note names on 107, and then I'm going to play it so you can hear it. Okay? Let me move my picture over. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully you can see 107 now. Alright, so on 107, we're going to clap and say note names first, and then we're just going to skip down to playing it. I want you to do all the 5 steps on your own when you practice this, but for the sake of time, I'm going to skip to the last one. So clap and say the note names first. Clap and say note names. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. A, B, A, F sharp, B, F sharp, A, B, A, F sharp, 2, 3, A, 2, 3, B, 2, 3, G, F sharp, G, E, 2, 3, E, 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 G, F sharp, E, G, F sharp, E, B, 2, 3, A, 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 G, F sharp, E, F sharp, D, 2, 3. Alright, now let's go ahead and play through this. Now I've got a page turn, so I'm going to mark my page here a little bit so I can turn that page easier. I'm going to try to turn my page quick. Again, remember, make sure you do all the steps on your own when you do this for real. But for right now, just so you can hear it, I'm going to play it without doing all the steps. Okay? And if I drop out for a second to turn my page, just keep on going. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. 1, 2, keep going. 3, A, 2, 3, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay? Now you might notice I hit a wrong note up there when I had my page turned. So hopefully you hit the right note. I hit a D, I think. Should have been a B. But that's the idea. If you play the first part again, you may notice it sounds very similar to a certain cartoon theme song beginning that you might recognize. I won't tell you which one. I want to see if you know it. Now, one more thing I want to mention about, 2 more things actually I want to mention about this one. At the beginning we have allegro, which remember that tempo means fast. So moderato we had earlier is medium, allegro is fast, and there is no time signature written in. They want you to write the correct one. So figure out the time signature, whether it's 3/4 or 4/4. Figure out which one it is based off of the notes, and then write that in there at the beginning. Okay? Now, the last song that we're going to talk about is 108. Now, on 108, there's something new. They're introducing something called a tie. And a tie, sorry, my camera's shaking. A tie is very similar to the way a dot works on a note. So if you have a tie, you look at the top of the page here, which should be on your book too, on page 29. On the for a tied note, you have 2 notes that are connected with a tie, and you add the length of those together. So, for example, if you have 2 quarter notes, each one of those is worth 1 beat by itself. So 1 plus 1 tied together is 2. So 2 quarter notes tied together is the same amount of time as a half note. All right, and this is showing you all 3 different clefs. So we got treble clef, alto clef, and bass clef. Yours may not have all 3 clefs in your book because I have the teacher book. So find your clef and then look at the top of the page on 29 on the yellow box there. Now, so you'll notice we're back in 4/4. So we have 4 beats in every measure, and we have a half note at the beginning, and then we have 2 quarter notes tied together. That length of time is going to be the same. So we're not going to change bows, like bow directions. We're not going to replay the second quarter note. It's just going to be like, we're going to pretend like it's a half note from that first quarter note. So from right here to right here, we're going to pretend like this together is a half note. Okay? And you'll also notice right here in the 4th measure, there's a rest worth 2 beats, so it's a half rest, and there's a little breath mark or a little lift above that. And for a lift, we just quickly but calmly, it doesn't have to be fast or anything, quickly and calmly move the bow, lift the bow up, and set it back down on the strings and pull. Okay? You do not want, when you do a lift, you do not want this to happen and to get that bouncing. You want it to be a nice smooth motion. So here's the A note, a random note, lift. Okay, there wasn't any of this. So you don't want that bouncing. You want to make a nice, place it down first on the string and then start pulling. Okay, so we're going to do the same one on this one we did on number 107. And again, I want you to go through on your own when you do this and practice all 5 steps. But for the sake of time, I'm already getting close to probably about 15 minutes now. So I want you to do all 5 steps on your own. I'm going to do step number 2, which Alright, we're going to try this again. My audio cut out for some reason. So let's go over 108 for the last time, hopefully. We're going to clap and count, or say the note names, sorry. Clap and say the note names for 108 first, and then we'll go back and play it. We're going to skip the other steps. Remember, of course, as I've said before, make sure you do all the steps on your own. Don't skip them like we're doing right now. We're just doing that for time. So 108, clapping with note names. 1, 2, ready, go. B, 2, E, 2, F sharp, 2, G, 2, A, 2, G, 2, A, 2, rest, reset, A, 2, G, 2, F sharp, 2, E, 2, D, 2, E, 2, D, 2, rest, rest. Alright? Now before we go on, I want to check and make sure you see this. If you're a violin or viola player, and that 4th measure is kind of dark on my screen, hopefully you can see it on your book. The 4th measure and 3rd measure, you have 4th finger A's, which are not the same as open A's. They sound the same, but they're not played the same. So, let's go ahead and find that real quick. So here's an open A. Alright, for 4th finger A, we use that same, we switch cameras, use the same fingering we always use for G on the D string, so 1, 2, 3. For violins and violas, remember this is different for cellos and basses. And then you just pop your pinky down past your 3rd finger to make the 4th finger A. Okay? Just one little bitty pinky. So let's go ahead and find it. Here's open A again. Let's make sure we have that note correct on our 4th finger. So if you play them together, if you play both strings at the same time, they should sound the same. Alright, so I'm going to switch my camera view back here. There we go, so you can see it. Now, when I play that 4th finger between this 4th measure and here, I'm going to leave my 4th finger down. We have the same note, it's still an A. So rather than switching to an open A here, I've already got my fingers down up there for an A. So I'm just going to leave it down, and I'm going to play an A just like that. I'm going to play 4th finger A. Even though it's not marked, I'm going to play it on the 5th measure because my fingers are already down. It makes it a lot easier that way. Okay, here we go, from the beginning. 1, 2, ready, go. E, 2, E, 2, F sharp, 2, G, the 4th finger, A, 2, rest and lift, leave it down, A, 2, rest. Okay, now you'll notice sometimes I got kind of a bad sound. I'm trying to dodge my microphone a little bit to make sure you can hear me and see me. So make sure your bow stays really straight. Hopefully you can see on the little picture down there in the left corner. Hopefully your bow stays really straight. Don't let it go diagonal like this while you play. Keep everything nice and straight. Okay. Now, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in this version. There we go. There's a lot of stuff in this video that might give you some trouble because there's some new stuff in there. So just go slow, take your time. You're not in any hurry. If you have questions, always you can ask me or Mr. Bailey. We'll be glad to help you. Or next year when you have Miss Gracia, you can always ask her questions. She'll be glad to help you too. In the meantime, like I said, go slow, take your time, do all 5 steps. Don't skip steps like we did just for this. Make sure you do all 5 steps, and let me know if you have any questions. And until next time, I'll see you later.